Yeah. So today we will discuss about how do we load the data into the Snowflake. So in how many ways we can load the data into the Snowflake and what are the methods we have to load the data into the Snowflake. So we will discuss all these steps. Okay. So we have a two ways. We have a two ways to load the data into the Snowflake environment. Two methods, I can say two methods. One is bulk loading, another one is continuous loading. We'll discuss one by one what is the meaning of bulk loading and then what is the meaning of continuous loading. Okay. So bulk loading, that is nothing but you will be using a object called stages. You will be using a object called stages. Yesterday I showed you stage. Stage is the one of the object. Stage is the one of the object. So bulk loading. Bulk loading means you will be use the stages objects to load the data into the. I will explain you. Don't worry. What is the meaning of stage? Everything, each and every point I will explain you. Don't worry. Okay. Continuous loading means you will be use the object called snowpipe. So stage or stages and snowpipe, both are the objects in the Snowflake. How you have a database schema table like that. Like that, you have a stages and then snowpipe. Usually this bulk loading method will be used to load the huge data. But this continuous loading will be handling a small set of data. Okay, see, most frequent used method use warehouses. Warehouses means virtual warehouse. Guys, do you know what is the meaning of virtual warehouse?
Yeah, physically it is not having any data.
Okay. Others. Kumar, what is the meaning of virtual warehouse?
It's just a compute.
So, which is an object, which is a compute resource, that is nothing but a in a Snowflake, the hardware resources are provided in form of virtual warehouses. Hardware resources are provided in form of virtual warehouses. How you are creating other objects like table, schema, database, like that you will also create the virtual warehouse. In that virtual warehouse also you will be having a different sizes, and based on the requirement you will create the virtual warehouse with the different sizes. So this is warehouse is very much required, and loading from the stages, copy command, transformations. I will explain you, don't worry. Designed to load small volume of data automatically once they are added to the stage. Latest results for analysis, SNOWPIPE. So here, bulk loading will be used to bulk loading is used stages to load the data. What is the meaning of stages? What is the meaning of stages? Let me explain. Stages is stage or stages. Stage is one of the object. Stage is the one of the object in the Snowflake which is used to load the data from the outside of the Snowflake environment. Outside of the Snowflake environment. Suppose let's consider you have a file in the AWS environment which is in S3 bucket. Okay, you want to load the data into the Snowflake tables. Guys, following or not following?
Yes, Shekhar.
Yes, following.
Yeah. So if the file is available in the AWS bucket, the file is available in the AWS bucket. See, AWS is one separate environment. Snowflake is separate environment. Yes or no, guys?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, as both are the different two separate environments, you want to bring the file data from the AWS and load the data into the Snowflake environment. So in that scenario, this stages will be useful, which will do the needful to load the data from the AWS environment to the Snowflake environment. And again, we have two types of stages: external stage and then internal stage. What is external stage? What is internal stage? We will discuss. This is stages, and which will be used in the bulk loading. SNOWPIPE. What is the meaning of this SNOWPIPE? SNOWPIPE is also object in the Snowflake. Object in the Snowflake, but what it will do, which is very much important, guys. Which is very much important. What it will do, automatically load the data from the AWS environment. Suppose let's consider you are getting a file in the AWS S3 bucket. Once you set up all these things, SNOWPIPE, within that SNOWPIPE, again you will use the external stage. Once you made the setup, how many number of times the file is coming to the AWS S3 bucket, automatically the SNOWPIPE object will be picked from the AWS S3 bucket and then load the data into the Snowflake tables. Now, what is the meaning of and what are the types of we have external stages? We will see. Yes, still here you are clear or any doubts?
Hi, Shekhar. I have a question here.
Yes.
For the continuous loading, right? Is it something like it will be pointing to the S3 folder where if any new file arrives, it will read the data? Or like, can you explain it again?
That is what. So you will make the setup. You will make the setup by using SNOWPIPE in such a way that if the file comes into the S3 bucket daily, there is no times also. Suppose if the file arrived into the S3 bucket in the morning 6 a.m., then the snow pipe will automatically pick that and then load the data. 7 a.m., yes, it will pick. 7:30 a.m., it will pick. 8 a.m., it will pick. Like that. This is not a scheduler. This is not a scheduler. Scheduler is a different. Scheduler is what? It will run automatically at the particular time. If you schedule to run that object, then automatically it will run for the particular time only. But the snow pipe is different. This is the object which will look into the particular path. So whatever the path you have provided at the time of creation, then whenever we get the new files, and then it load the data into the Snowflake tables. Clear or not clear?
Yeah, yes, Shekhar. So, but when you compare with the bulk loading, the external bulk loading, for example, to take all the files at once or all the tables at once, that's why the difference is, right? The bulk loading and
No. In bulk loading also, you will be dealing with the files only. But in bulk loading, you will deal with the huge data.
okay.
Okay, huge data. But in continuous loading, you are going to deal with the so small set of data.
For example, incremental data. So every day it comes and
Yeah, you can say like that. That's your requirement, and then you need a setup. That's it.
okay. Yeah.
Others clear or any doubts?
No, Shekhar, what is the S3 bucket? It's like in AWS, it is one of the objects, sir.
No. So which is don't confuse. Which is an AWS. I'm S3 bucket means I'm talking about the AWS environment.
Okay.
Okay.
AWS.
Where you will be having again folders.
Okay.
You will create the folders. Once you
Okay.
create the folders, where you can upload the files into folders. So that is the S3 bucket.
Okay. In that particular path, that particular file path, we place that file, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now we'll discuss about what are the different types of stages we have. So we have external stage and then internal stage. Okay. We'll discuss one by one. External stage is used to create the okay, bring the data from the outside of the Snowflake environment, like as I mentioned, AWS S3 bucket or Azure or GCP. In the very first session, I mentioned that Snowflake is created on top of 3 cloud providers. One is AWS, another one is GCP, another one is Azure. You can use any one of those cloud providers. So if the files are available in AWS or else in GCP or else in Azure, to bring that data into the Snowflake environment, then you are going to use the external stage. Internal stage means if the files are available in your local machine, in your local computer, then you are going to use the internal stage to load the data into the Snowflake tables. External stage is used to bring the files data from the cloud provider into the Snowflake tables. Internal stage used to bring the file data from your local computer and then load the data into the Snowflake tables. So these are the two different stages. Clear or not clear? Tell me guys.
Yeah,
Say,
clear, Shekhar. Yeah, it's
Clear,
are
clear,
the
clear.
Prem Kumar, Prem Kumar, Muthu clear, huh? Chalo. Now,
Yeah.
how do we load the data? How do we load the data? What is the process to load the data into the Snowflake by using all these things? I will explain theoretically first. Okay. See, bulk load. Bulk load. What are the steps? What are the steps we have while loading a data by using a bulk load method? First of all, you need to make the connection between the two environments. One is Snowflake environment, another one is AWS environment. Why do we need to make the connection between the two environments, guys?
To bring data.
Yeah, because you have a file in your AWS environment, you need to bring that file data into the Snowflake environment without making the connection between the two environments, then you can't able to bring the data. That's the very first step. That is the very first step. Without making the connection, even your external stage can't able to do anything. Okay, first is you need to make the connection. Next, upload the files in S3 bucket and then load the data into the Snowflake target table. So next, what is the meaning? You need to upload the files into the S3 bucket and then start your process. Next, where your external stage come into picture, where your external stage come into picture, what it will do, what it has. So this external stage itself here, one of the object in a Snowflake environment. Snowflake environment, which is creating in a Snowflake, Already you have made the connections between the two environments and you have uploaded the files and then you are creating an external stage. In this external stage, this is the key. This is the key for your data load process. External stage is the key for your data load process. While creation of external stage, you will give the address of the source file. That is nothing but your AWS environment details. Address of the source file. You will give while creation of the external stage, you will give the address of the source files. You will give the address of the source files. And then you will also provide the what kind of file you are loading, whether you are loading a CSV file or you are loading a JSON file, etc. You will give that details also, extension. So we can load CSV and JSON files. You will give the source, address of the source details, and also you will give the file names, and also you will give the file type also, and you will create the external stage. Okay, once you create the external stage, on top of this external stage, you will write a copy command. To load the data into the Snowflake target from the external stage. Okay, to load the data into the Snowflake target tables by using external stage, data will be loaded. In your external stage, you have made the setup. You have made the setup to bring the files from this S3 bucket, which is available in the AWS environment. What it will do, it is the intermediate between the two environments, AWS and then Snowflake. Without this external stage, you can't bring the data. You need to create this external stage. You will make all the setup. Then you are about to bring the files from Snowflake and files from AWS into the Snowflake. Now you have files in your external stage. Okay, you have only files here, external files, external stage, and you need to load the data into the Snowflake target tables. That will be doing using your copy command, and then load the data into the Snowflake target tables. Now tell me, is these 4 points are clear or not clear? Any confusion?
Yeah, I have one question, Shekhar.
Muthu, your voice is very low.
Yeah, you able to hear me now?
Yeah.
So I have a question. So because you said right, Snowflake will be launched on any of the cloud. So on that case, like why do we need a connection from AWS into the Snowflake if the Snowflake is launched on the AWS, if my understanding is correct?
Yes, Snowflake is launched on the cloud provider. Okay, cloud provider. Okay.
Yeah.
Without see, even if so, it has a feasibility now, as they have made the architecture or they have made the setup to accept to work on those three cloud providers. Okay. So
Yeah.
that is a base. They have made they have that feasible now. You have a passwords to work with these three cloud providers. After that, you will choose which cloud provider you are going to work based on your organization thing. Okay. Once you choose, suppose while creation of your Snowflake account, you will select that cloud provider, AWS or GCP or Azure. Okay. So that is nothing but you have a feasibility to work with the AWS environment. That is nothing but it is Snowflake is going to accept the or work with the AWS environment. Okay. Now you created the account, you have selected the AWS cloud provider, and then you started to work on the Snowflake environment here. Okay. You started to work on the Snowflake environment, and then you have a tables. But you just selected the AWS cloud provider. That is meaning that you are going to work with the AWS cloud provider. That is meaning that you have provided the and you have made the setup of that. You are going to work with the AWS cloud provider. But while selection of your AWS at the time of creation of your Snowflake account, you just selected the AWS cloud provider, but you have not given any of the details of your Snowflake, any of the details of your AWS environment. You just clicked on the AWS cloud provider and then created the account. But at the time of creation, at the time of selection of your AWS cloud provider, you have not given your AWS cloud provider details. What is the path? What is the S3 bucket? What is the file name? All these things and all you have not given at the time of creation of Snowflake account and at the time of selection of your AWS cloud provider. You are selecting the cloud provider means, first of all, Snowflake has provided feasible to work with the three cloud provider. But while creation of your account, you have selected the one cloud provider. That is nothing but you are going to work with that cloud provider with the Snowflake. And you have not given any details. You need to provide the address, right, Muthu? So
Got it.
what is the environment? What is the path? what is the your S3 bucket and what are the files you are uploading, what are the name of that files and what are the type of those files and all, you need to provide externally. Say yes or no.
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
Clear or not clear?
Yeah. So, and also at the moment, it will, for example, we have selected as a AWS as a cloud provider. So it means that we can't get any files from Azure or a GCP. Will it not support at the same time? For example, I want to get a one file from AWS and I want to get a one file from Azure. Will it support?
It will support, but your account has created by selecting that cloud provider.
Okay. But you, for example, if I select a AWS cloud provider and after that I create a AWS collection, that is fine. But I want to get a file from Azure. Will it work?
File from Azure,
Yeah.
then your account has been created with the combination of your Azure cloud provider and the Snowflake environment. Then only it will accept.
Yeah. Okay. So the combination is also will be allowed. Okay. Okay. Fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Further. So this is the setup. This is the setup. How you made the setup and then how you load the data. This is the setup. Okay. And while loading a data, now you come out of from AWS. Now you are completely about your external stage. So you are creating external stage. This external stage is dealing with the your AWS environment and then files. Once you create this external stage always it will refer to AWS environment or S3 bucket, whatever the files you have in the S3 bucket, and then it is going to bring those files and then load the data into the target tables. Now, there are some set of rules you need to consider. While working with the external stage. There are some set of rules you need to understand while working with the external stage and the S3 bucket. What are those? We can load single file or multiple files or all files at a time. Suppose let's consider you have a S3 bucket. In that S3 bucket, you have 10 files. Out of those 10 files, if you want to load all the 10 files, then you can load. That is the first option. Or else you can load set of files. Suppose number one, first file or second file, third file. Out of the 10, if you want to load some 6 to 7 files, then you can load those files also. Or if you want to load only single file, then you can load single file also. You have options. You can load 10 files at a time, you can load couple of files at a time, or you can load single file at a time. So this is one of the rule. But while loading the file data into the Snowflake target table, the file structure and then your target table structure should be same. What is the meaning of this statement, guys?
Schema should be same.
Yeah, there you have a 10 columns in your source file, and then your target table should be having a 10 columns, and the data type is also should be match. Else it will throw the error. It will throw the data type mismatch.
Okay, but is there any schema drift is option available? Like
Yes,
merge
schema
schema.
changes.
Usually we do a Spark when we're writing the Spark merge schema, right? Data frame into the table, right? In the PySpark. Is it
Yeah,
possible?
here also you can convert. Here also you can convert the columns by using your SQL commands while loading a data. That I will show you.
Okay.
Next, once the data is loaded into the target table by using the copy command, again it will not be loaded duplicate data into the same table from the same file. Suppose let's consider you already loaded the data from the one file. From the one file, suppose let's say 100 records you have loaded from the file. Second time you are trying to load the same file data. You are trying to load the same file data into the same table. Then by default, your copy command will not allow you to load the duplicate data into the table. But we have some other options. You need to write something to load the duplicate data also. Suppose while doing a testing, if you want to make some mock data, you want to load the huge data. So in that scenario, so if you want to load the same data into the table, but by default your copy command will not allow you to load the duplicate data into the target table, but still you have an option to load that. You need to write something else while loading the copy command. That I will show you while working with this copy command. Okay, so this is the default. They will ask you in the interview questions. If I want to load the same file data into the same table, will it going to allow or not? Like that they will ask you in the questions. So by default it will not allow you to load the duplicate data. Okay, this is clear. Next, while loading a data from the one file, suppose let's consider we have 100 records in the file. If any one record due to the some XYZ reason, it is not going to process the data. It is throwing the error due to that one record. So in that scenario, it will fail to load the entire data from the file. Out of the 100 records, one record having an issue, some mismatch or data issue, whatever the reason. So due to that your copy command is going to fail. So in that scenario, if any single record is having an issue, the entire data load will be failed, and then entire data will not be loaded into the target table. But this is the default here. But still, next, by writing some other options, you can exclude those records, whatever the records we have issues are invalid records, you can exclude and then load the successful data into the target table. Out of the 100 records, if you have a 10 records issue, by default it will throw the error. It will not load single record. On top of that, if you want to exclude the invalid records and then load the valid records into the Snowflake target table, then you have an option. So this is the whole process how you are going to load the data into the Snowflake target tables which are available in the AWS S3 bucket. This is clear or not clear? Please tell me.
Yep.
Others?
Clear.
Yeah. So internal stage means, so here you have created external stage. Here you will create the internal stage. But all these rules are same. But only thing is, internal stage is used to bring the data from your local computer, and external stage is used to load the data from the different cloud providers. Okay. One second. See here. Just suppose let's consider one scenario. SQL Server is a on-prem server. Snowflake is the cloud data warehouse. Those are the two different environments. Yes or no, guys?
Yes.
So SQL Server is different. Your Snowflake is different. You want to load the data from the SQL Server into Snowflake. Now you have two ways. You can connect any one ETL tool to the source system and then target system, you can load the data. So this is the one option. So this is the third party ETL tool, whatever it is, Talent, SSIS, Informatica, Data Stage, whatever it is. You can connect the ETL tool to the source system and then target system. So what is the source system and then what is the target system here, guys?
System is SQL server.
Snowflake, yeah.
Snowflake is the target.
Correct. So this is the one option you have. This is the one option we have. And other option is using your existing functionality with the Snowflake, you can go with this option also. Using your existing functionality of whatever we have discussed so far, external stage, copy command, AWS environment, S3 bucket, entire thing. What you will do first, you will bring the data into the file and then upload the files into your AWS cloud and S3 bucket. Okay, so this is existing functionality. You no need of any third-party tool. You have feasibility. You have a comfortable with this setup. You no need to connect or you no need to think in such a way that in organization, see, in our local laptop, so you can install any softwares and then start working with the tools. But in the organization, in the companies, professionally, they can't install all the software and then work with it. No. If they wanted to work with the any tool, they need to get the license from that company and then buy the product from that company. If they wanted to use, suppose let's consider here, to load the data into the from source system to the target system, they wanted to use the talent ETL tool. Simply they can't install in the companies and the organization. No, they need to take the license from the talent and then they need to buy the talent product and then start using that. To buy that product, then again they need to spend some money. It is cost to your organization. So instead of spending that extra money, why can't you work with the existing functionality? For this, you no need to pay. You no need to pay additional cost to anything. Getting or not getting, guys?
Shekhar, here SQL Server data, right? SQL Server data will be ported as a files using some utility, right? Like a bulk of utilities, and that files should be transferred FTP.
Yeah, that's what. So you can anything. You can use anything. You can use some Python code, whatever it is, to automate this process.
Okay.
To bring the data from here and then load the data. That's what it's all compatibility. What technologies your organization is using? Yes or no?
Yeah.
If already organization, if your organization already has a license to your ETL tool, that is also good. If no, then bring the files and then load the files into the AWS environment and then create this extra stage in the Snowflake environment. I just provided the outside of the Snowflake environment because to make the differentiate. But this external stage and then this copy command, this external stage and then this copy command will be created within the Snowflake. So here in this external stage, you will provide the address of your AWS environment, address of your S3 buckets, and then file names. Everything you will provide. That's why this external stage is key to your Snowflake environment. Okay. So once you create this external stage, once you create your external stage, and then you can write the copy command. Okay. This copy command will load the data into your Snowflake target tables. On top of your external stage, you will write in a copy command. In this copy command, you will mention again, you need to load the data from the multiple files or all files or from a single file. So this is the copy command is again very much important. So here you are going to write all the file names or multiple file names or single file name, whatever it is, multiple file names or single file name, whatever it is. So you will write all these file names and then load the data into the Snowflake target tables. Snowflake target tables. This is the one process. This is the one process. Another process is here you will make all the setup in the ETL tool. You will connect to the source system and then you will connect to the target system and you will mention the what files you need to bring from the source system and in which table you need to load the data into the target tables. Everything you are going to made the setup by using the made the setup by using the ETL tool. So this will load the data into the target table. This will load the data into the target tables from the source files which are available in the outside of your Snowflake environment. So this is all about how do you load the data theoretically into the your Snowflake target tables. What we will do by tomorrow, the same thing. Whatever we will go into this direction. You have your files, you will upload, you create extra stage, you write copy command and then load the data into the target table. Tomorrow we are going to work with the your Snowflake concepts. Clear or not clear, guys? I need to.
I have a question.
I have a. Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question. When you said we can load data from SQL Server to Snowflake using the ETL tool, so does it mean that we have to transform the data before loading it? Because when we are using ETL tool to load, ETL tool only load a transformed data. Whereas if you have to use the other approach where we have to go through the files, the AWS, the external stage, we are simply loading a raw data. So I'm a little bit concerned about the two approaches because I believe that the first approach with ETL is going to load a transform data, and the second one is going to load a raw data. So maybe the data will be different.
Okay. See, yeah, good question. Whatever you are doing here. So you mean to say? So here you mean to say? In this approach, you are loading a raw data. Here, in
Raw
this
data,
approach,
yes.
you are applying a transform data. Yes or no?
Yeah, you're loading a transform data because if you're using
so
ETL
here also, in this approach also, in copy command, you can apply the same transformations. The transform data will be loaded into the target tables. You can load raw data also. Plus, if you want to apply some transformations on top of your raw data, you can apply transformations by using this copy command and then load the data into the target table. The same thing with the ETL tool also. You will bring the raw data. If you want to apply some transformations in the ETL tool, and then the transform data will be loaded into the Snowflake target table. The same thing, whatever we are doing here, you can apply here also. This is clear?
Yeah, but I have another question. So, what was the point of this? So, was the point like loading raw data from source to data warehouse, or it was loading like kind of a transform data to the warehouse?
See, that is your requirement. That is your requirement. Whether you load the as is data, whether if you are getting a proper data in your source system, you have verified everything. If you need to load the as is, truncate and load, then you are going to see as raw data means what? As is data. You will load the data into the table daily, truncate and load. On top of that, by using your SQL, you will do some transformations and then generate the reports. That is up to you. That is based on the requirement. Or else, on top of that raw data, first initially you will load the data into the staging table. On top of that staging table, you will write some transformations and then load the data into the target table. That is completely based on your file data and then requirement, how you are going to get the data into the source system. Wherever, whether it is a ETL, whether it is in this form also, the thing is you need to take a call. You need to take a call. If your vendor is providing a proper accurate data without any issues, then you can load the data into the staging table and then apply all your transformations on top of your staging table and then load the data into the target table and then generate the report. That is one process. No.
Okay.
You have a junk data. You have junk data in your source file. Then you can filter. You can do your transformations here itself, and then invalid records and all load into some log table, and then valid records load the data into the target table. Yes.
Yeah. So what if I want to load raw data into Snowflake? Then after that, I use GPT to do transformation. Can I still use the ETL tool to do that?
That's what I mentioned. See, it's all if your organization has already any ETL tool, then you can use this ETL tool. If no, then you can go with this approach.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks.
Guys, any other question?
Shekhar, I have a couple of questions. One, what I understand is external stage in Snowflake. When it reads the file, it is schema on inference, right? When it reads the copy command data from AWS S3 bucket, and it reads with the file with the schema, automatically it understands the schema, right?
Yes, because already you have defined and made the connection between the two environments. It just mark into the what you will provide the S3 bucket details here. Whatever the S3 buckets you have provided here, then it will go and then it will look into that S3 bucket. In the S3 bucket, whatever the files are having, it is going to mark those files. But this copy command will read the data from these files and then load the data into the target table. While reading a data, by using copy command, if everything is fine, then only the data will be loaded. Or else it will throw the error.
Okay, so in that case, do we need to mention schema explicitly, or by default it has a schema in front end?
No. You don't need to do any schema verification here or schema define here. But only thing is, you will make the setup based on your target table and then source file structure you are going to create. Based on that, you will predefine.
Okay, okay. And also, when we writing, you said it will by default it will allow duplicates, right?
It will not
Tomorrow,
allow.
sorry, it will not allow duplicate. Okay. So tomorrow I have a, for example, one policy ID and transactions. So something has updated records. Okay. So on
That is what
case,
CDC change data capture and all you can handle with the. We have a different concept. That is too advanced to discuss now. That is too advanced to discuss. Yeah, you can incremental data, CDC, those things and all you can implement here. We will discuss all those things, but the outline is your copy command is not your copy command by default is not going to accept the duplicate records. To overcome that, we have already I mentioned we have other options.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clear or any other doubts?
So one more last one, Shekhar.
It's
So
okay, fine. You can ask a number of questions, no issues.
yeah, thank you. So it has now we have a structured data, right? So and also when it comes for AWS cloud, it has a semi-structured as well. So
That's what I mentioned. Even if you have a JSON file, XML file, Paraket file, that also you can bring and then load the data into the Snowflake tables. You have a concepts in Snowflake to handle semi-structured files also. That we are going to work in the our sessions.
okay, right. Yeah, thank you, Shekhar.
Yeah, tomorrow Saturday, but still we will connect tomorrow morning same time. Okay,
Yeah,
guys.
and also Shekhar, will
Okay.
this recording session be available to go through tomorrow before the session starts?
That is what the recording session. That control is not with me. It is with institute people. You need to touch base with them.
Okay, sure. I will talk to them.
Yeah, guys. Clear or any doubts?
There.
Yeah. Chalo,
Yes.
we will meet tomorrow. Saturday tomorrow, but still we will connect because this is initial discussions. If we miss the continuity, then you will forget the concepts again. Suppose if directly we are going to connect on Monday, then again it will take time for me to make you understand. Yes or no?
Yes.
Chalo guys, we'll meet tomorrow. Bye bye. Have a nice
Yeah,
day. Thank
yeah,
you.
thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Yeah.